And in the rare instance, this is the rare instance that I do 2 Trump stories in a row. But this story isn't actually about Donald Trump. It's not about Donald Trump. It's something that his press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, excuse me. And I thought that this was the most astoundingly, she either knows she's lying or she's out of her goddamn mind. It's probably a mix of both. And I apologize, I'm a little late on this. I think she said this like a week ago. So I'm going to play this clip, and you tell me if something sounds wrong, okay? This is Sarah Huckabee Sanders about a week ago when asked the question by the media.
Does the White House believe the election in Russia was free and fair?
I'm sorry?
Does the White House believe that the election in Russia was free and fair?
Look, in terms of the election, we're focused on our elections. We don't get to dictate how other countries operate. What we do know is that Putin has been elected in their country, and that's not something that we can dictate to them how they operate. We can only focus on the...
What is this? Did you just hear what I heard? Do I need to play that for you one more time? I'm going to play that for you one more time because it's absolutely insane. The hypocrisy, the tone deafness.
Does the White House believe the election in Russia was free and fair?
I'm sorry?
Does the White House believe that the election in Russia was free and fair?
Look, in terms of the election, we're focused on our elections. We don't get to dictate how other countries operate. What we do know is that Putin has been elected in their country, and that's not something that we can dictate to them how they operate. We can only focus on the freeness and the fairness of our elections, something we 100% fully support, and something we're going to continue to do everything we can to protect.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Apparently the United States of America, who's been interfering in elections all over the goddamn globe since the I'd say 40s, who's been rigging other countries' elections, including the 1996 election in Russia, which if you listen to my podcast with Rolling Stone's Matt Taibbi, who was a journalist in Russia when this was happening, that election was rigged by the United States. The United States has literally installed terrorist dictators to topple democratically elected leaders in Iran, Venezuela, Peru. I mean, the list goes on. And if you have time, folks, you got to watch The Untold History of the United States, Oliver Stone's documentary series. I'm not getting a check. He ain't paying me. But the amount, I mean, literally, the United States foreign policy beyond a military buildup has been to interfere in other countries' elections, to topple democratically elected leaders because those democratically elected leaders wanted to nationalize their country's oil. The common denominator when the United States goes in to topple democratically elected leaders in other countries under the guise of, oh, the big bad communism threat is, oh, they say they want to nationalize their oil. That's what Fidel Castro said. And all of a sudden, Fidel Castro was a goddamn... was a very big, scary monster to basic humanity. Don't get me wrong. Communism in past has also been bad. What's his face? Stalin killed a lot of people in the name of communism. But you know what? So has capitalism. Let's stop pretending that we in the United States have clean hands. Let's stop pretending that we haven't been, forget meddling, directly interfering with other countries' elections. Let's not forget that we have spent so much of our resources on building up democracy in Iraq and Afghanistan. And if Hillary Clinton had her way in Syria and Iran at the expense of building up education in our country, at the expense of, I don't know, building up infrastructure in our country, at the expense of, I don't know, investing money so everybody could have health care in the United States of America, which, by the way, would actually help our economy more than dropping bombs on Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria and Russia. For Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who lies for a living, so it's not a shock, but to make that comment that the United States of America doesn't have the right to interfere in other countries' elections like Russia, in theory, yes, she's absolutely right. But to say that when literally the CIA, which nickname for the CIA, which I learned through Oliver Stone's documentary, the CIA nickname is capitalism's invisible army. To say that we don't have the right, yeah, you're about 60 years late to the party of interference all around the goddamn globe in the name of spreading democracy for the United States. Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Eisenhower, and Truman. Kennedy wanted to put the kibosh on this military-industrial complex. Kennedy stopped the Cuban Missile Crisis from turning into World War III against his military-industrial complex neocon advisors. And Kennedy was killed. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, but I'm just saying Kennedy was the last president who wanted to put an end to all that and start pulling back from us interfering around the whole world. And he was killed. I'm just saying. Lyndon B. Johnson interfered, his administration interfered in other countries' elections. Richard Nixon, need I say more? Even Jimmy Carter, who I think gets a bad rap, by the way. I like Jimmy Carter. So, I expect stupidity from the Trump administration. I expect lies like they come out like breaths. When you breathe in the cold, it comes out vapor. I expect lies like that. But that was a doozy, what Sarah Huckabee Sanders said.